data centers put health and community concerns in full focus. Data center development is moving quickly across the United States, but access to land, electricity, and network infrastructure is no longer the whole conversation. Communities hosting or being asked to host large-scale computing facilities are paying closer attention to how projects could affect air quality, noise, water supplies, electricity demand, and day-to-day quality of life. The Environmental Health Project, EHP, a Pennsylvania-based nonprofit public health organization, has released a series of resources designed to help residents assess proposed data center projects and participate in local zoning, permitting, and planning processes. The materials arrive as demand from artificial intelligence and cloud computing continues to increase pressure for new data center capacity. That growth is putting developers, utilities, and government officials in the middle of a wider discussion about how digital infrastructure fits alongside local energy, environmental, and public health priorities. Health and resource use. Move up the data center agenda. EHP's The Health Risks of Data Centers infographic directs readers to research addressing several environmental and health issues that may be associated with data center operations. Among the areas receiving attention are emissions from backup generators and electricity generation, continuous equipment noise, nighttime lighting, water consumption, and rising power demand. The potential impact of a project depends heavily on its design and location. Cooling systems, facility size, energy sources, generator operating hours, grid conditions, and the distance between a site and nearby homes can all change the risk profile. That variation is becoming increasingly relevant during public review. For developers and operators, broad sustainability commitments may not answer the questions being raised at the local level. Communities are increasingly interested in project-specific figures covering water requirements, expected noise levels, generator use, and electricity consumption. EHP has also published The Dangers of Data Centers, which examines possible health effects and discusses populations the organization believes could be more exposed to the consequences of new development. EHP approaches the issue from a public health advocacy standpoint, but its work reflects a broader change in how data center projects are being assessed. Local debates that previously focused heavily on tax revenue, power availability, and economic development are increasingly covering environmental justice, health, and quality of life as well. The shift has practical consequences for the industry. Concerns raised during planning can affect zoning decisions, permit conditions, development schedules, and political support. Addressing issues such as noise control, generator emissions, energy sourcing, and water demand at an early stage could therefore become a more important part of project risk management. Community pressure could reshape data center development. EHP is also encouraging residents to become more involved in the approval process. Its strategies from the front lines, how communities fight data centers' resource, draws on the experience of a resident who opposed data center projects and outlines approaches communities can use when reviewing proposed developments. For operators, more organized local participation means community relations can no longer be treated as a late-stage communications exercise. Residents may want information before zoning votes or permit hearings, particularly in markets where several projects are being proposed at once. In those areas, scrutiny can extend beyond a single facility to the combined demand that multiple data centers could place on electricity networks, water systems, and available land. That cumulative impact discussion could increase pressure on companies to disclose more detailed resource use and environmental data, even where regulations do not explicitly require it. Pennsylvania is one market where the debate is becoming especially visible. EHP has drawn comparisons between the state's emerging data center build-out and its experience with shale gas development, arguing that potential public health effects should be considered before projects become more widespread. The organization has also urged Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's administration to prioritize renewable energy, including wind and solar, as additional data center capacity comes online. That position feeds into a larger industry question: how to supply rapidly growing around-the-clock electricity demand while managing cost, reliability, and emissions. Natural gas can provide dispatchable generation, while wind, solar, storage, and grid supplied electricity are increasingly being combined within corporate energy strategies. The practical balance between those options will differ by market, grid capacity, and facility requirements. For data center companies, the broader takeaway is that securing a site and enough megawatts may not be sufficient to secure local support. As development reaches more communities, operators can expect closer questions about noise, emissions, water demand, power costs, and the effects of multiple projects in the same region. Providing site specific data and engaging communities earlier in the development process could increasingly influence whether projects advance smoothly or face longer and more contested approval processes.